When your child is taken into care by the Jugendamt, Germany's youth services, it can feel like your world is falling apart. You feel overwhelmed, powerless. It's an incredibly tough situation. But you know what? There's a really powerful tool that's still in your hands, a way to build a bridge back to your child. So today, we're going to explain exactly how documentation can become that bridge. And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of it. You're going through this massive emotional crisis, but you're having to deal with a very formal, very structured system. It's like you're speaking two completely different languages. To get through this, you have to learn to speak their language, and that language is all about written proof. Okay, so let's dive into that. To really get a handle on the solution, we first have to understand the logic of the system you're working with. It runs on a fundamental rule that can feel super frustrating, but knowing it, well, that's the key to everything. This right here is the single most important thing to get. I mean it. You could be making amazing progress, going to every single appointment, turning your life around, but if there's no written record of it, in the eyes of the system, it's just invisible. It's like it vanished into thin air. Your hard work has to be on paper to count. And just to give you a sense of scale, this is a system dealing with a lot of cases. In a recent year, youth offices across Germany took around 69,500 children into care. Now, this is often meant to be a temporary measure, but what happens next? Well, it really depends on what you can prove. The thing is, the Jugendamt's actions aren't just random. They're based on a really clear legal framework. We're talking about specific codes like SGB 8 and the BGB, all under the German Constitution. The main takeaway here, this is a formal, procedure-driven world. And that's the real question, isn't it? If your words and your feelings aren't enough, how do you take all your actions, all your effort, and all the love you have for your child and translate it into a language the system can actually understand and act on? Okay, this is where we start to shift from the problem to the solution. I want you to think of every single document, every note, and every email as a piece of wood, a plank in the bridge that's going to lead you back to your child. It's all about turning what you do into solid, undeniable evidence. So what do we even mean by proper documentation? Look, it's not about just scribbling down random notes. It's a dated, factual, and organized record. It says what happened, what you did about it, what you learned, and how things changed because of it. It's your story, but told in the language of facts. You know, what's really great about this is how simple the process can be when you just break it down. It starts with a concern that the authorities bring up. That leads to an action that you take. Then you gather the evidence of that action and boom, you have a documented result. You're literally changing the story from being about problems to being about solutions. All right, let's get practical. Let's open up the toolkit. We're going to walk through the actual concrete steps you can take, starting right now, to build a powerful case file that shows just how committed you are. Okay, so a few ground rules to make this work. First, date and time everything. It creates a timeline. Stick to the facts, what actually happened, before you add how you felt. That keeps it objective. And for every meeting, you've got to note who was there and what was decided. And please, keep it all in one organized place. Here's your first and most important new habit. After every single meeting, whether it's with the Jugendamt, a therapist, anyone, take 5 minutes and write a quick summary. Who was there? What did you talk about? What did you agree to do? Then send a quick, polite email with that summary. That creates a paper trail, proving you're cooperative and on top of things. And check this out. This is such a simple but powerful way to handle concerns. It's just 2 columns. On the left, you write down the issue they raised, like communication about school absences is unclear. And on the right, your concrete response. I've started a daily check-in checklist with the school. It's brilliant. It shows you listen and you solve problems. So where does all this amazing information go? You need a system. I'd suggest both a physical binder and a secure folder in the cloud. Make sections for everything: official letters, meeting summaries, a log of your progress, certificates from any courses you take, and even copies of letters you write to your child. Getting organized is half the battle. And hey, here's a great little hack if writing feels like a huge chore. Right after a meeting, when it's all fresh in your mind, just open up the voice recorder on your phone and talk it out. You can always type it up later. The important thing is just to capture the details right away. So you're putting in all this work, you're building this file, but why is it so powerful? Let's break down why this strategy actually works inside the system and how it turns your words into hard evidence that they can't ignore. This is the absolute core of it. Look, anybody can say, I'm trying or I'm getting better.
But a dated log of your actions, a folder full of certificates, a clear record of your communication, that's not you just saying it, that's verifiable proof that you're doing it.
And that proof, it has real-world power. It directly influences those big, formal help plan meetings. It gives them a concrete reason to start planning for your child's return. And crucially, it gives your lawyer actual evidence to use in court to show that real positive change has happened. Now, this is so important to hear. You are not supposed to do all of this by yourself. You have rights, and there are resources out there ready to support you through this incredibly challenging journey. First things first, know your rights. You have the right to ask to see your case file. You are allowed to bring a trusted person with you to meetings for support. And you can absolutely seek out independent counseling. Knowing what you're entitled to is the first step to being your own best advocate. And speaking of help, there are organizations like Parent Compass that provide guidance, and they're using really smart tools like Notebook LM to help parents get organized, summarize long documents, and keep track of everything that matters, all in one secure place.
So, what can you do right now, today? I'd say visit the Parent Compass website. You'll find more resources and a whole community that gets what you're going through. And you can start playing around with Notebook LM to begin building that organized file we talked about.
Let's just end on this powerful idea. This whole process, it's not about being perfect. It's about showing one step at a time that you're a safe, consistent, and loving parent. It's about building your record to protect your parenthood one documented step at a time.